morning, everyone. We are here with you through the mid-morning hours to keep you prepared for what's ahead.
Weather Channel, of course, has you covered from coast to coast. It's been a while since we've all three.
I know. About 2-3 months now, I think.
It feels like it.
It just feels like it. I'll tell you what, the weather's been busy, and that's one of the reasons why we've been, not that it's not busy today, it's just a different kind of busy. And there's a lot going on this radar behind us.
Lots of colors, right? It looks like the kids got a hold of the crayon box across the Midwest, where we got the sleet, we got some freezing rain, we got some snow, you got it all.
And then where it's not happening, it's foggy.
Yeah, and foggy's no good, but the colors on the radar, not all of them are good either. Yeah, maybe we want the rain, but we don't want the ice. We've seen what that can do.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll talk more about what's happening here across the board here. There's that fog I was talking about.
Oh my gosh.
It is everywhere, and it is so thick, and in some cases, it's freezing fog.
Oof.
Freezing fog.
The worst.
Fog is bad enough.
Exactly.
I know.
Can you get any worse than that?
Why do you have to do
freezing
that?
fog?
Why do you have to freeze up on us?
Freezing fog is as bad as freezing rain, if you ask.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to driving, scenes like this is what we're dealing with here with all the
Just as far as we can tell from here.
Looks like everything came out just fine.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feat. I mean, that driver, bravo, because what was going through his or her mind when that was happening.
Another reason why winter is dangerous and the ice is the worst.
I know.
Period. End of story.
And we still have some right now.
We do. So let's talk about this here with our storm that's still having an impact on the portions of the Midwest, and will be on the Northeast as well as we head on through the coming days.
Well, exactly. Or at very least, we're going to get a changeover from snow to rain. Now, our virtual view technology takes me to Boston Common, where they'll see the midweek warm up here replace that wintry mix of rain and snow. We'll get over to mostly rain showers coming on in. Boston, I mean, look, we had a cold stretch. We finally warmed up above freezing yesterday after spending nearly 6 days below freezing. However, now we're on a warming stretch. You know, that kind of cold hasn't happened in a while, not in the last 2 winters. So, you guys felt it. That was sort of a real winter kind of situation where it was cold, it was snowy. Now we're right back into the warm with this pattern, and it's a ridge in our jet stream. It's sending temperatures above average. No Arctic air to be found, even in the west, where yes, we're not getting the big old ridge, but we're not getting the Arctic air either. So watching our disturbance as it heads into the Northeast interact with that warm air means we're going to get a forecast like this. Rain comes into Cincinnati Wednesday night and Thursday. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s. So yes, it's going to be mild, but no, Alex, folks might not be calling you out sick to enjoy that weather, because it's just going to be kind of soggy. We see the rain come in Wednesday. Look at this, lifting up here even to Chicago. Now there'll be a little area where you got to watch temperatures sub-freezing at the surface. There might be some freezing rain. It should be pretty short-lived, but again on Thursday, next surge of moisture comes up. We got to watch that again, just on the northern edge of where we see this precip, where that cold air kind of holds on again, especially at low levels. Rainfall amounts are going to be up to an inch in most spots here. We'll get some heavier numbers, bigger amounts coming in across Kentucky, maybe up into Ohio. I think that could make a mess of things out there, because we do have cold frozen ground, snowpack on the ground. You put rain on top of that, it makes it very sloppy and sometimes can lead to some flooding. Now, disturbance sliding into the Northeast coming our way again with temperatures warming in that big ridge. It's going to mean that we see a lot more rain than we see any wintry precip. New York City, it means rain for us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with warm temperatures in the 50s. 2023 was the Earth's hottest year on record, according to NOAA's State of the Climate report. Globally, more than 800 all-time record highs and record warm lows were set. And overall, the last 10 years mark the hottest years on record. Ocean temps hit record highs last year and likely was a big factor driving the global warmth. And although we're dealing with extreme cold and snow this month, 2024 could still end up warmer than last year. Meteorologist Stephanie Abrams dives into the connections between warming oceans and the weather patterns on land. Talking about these warming waters, there's a program called the Coral Reef Watch Program. It monitors the health of coral reefs globally. And this past December, they had to expand their alert levels. Wow. The scale went to 2 levels. Now they had to expand it to 5, because the warming is just that extreme, more than we've ever seen previously.
And when you start having to change scales,
Right.
you know we're dealing with some
Yeah.
issues.
So the analogy that we brought up was that maybe it's like changing the Saffir-Simpson scale
Right.
to include another category,
Right.
or the EF scale to include another category of tornadoes.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's the intensity and
Yeah.
sort of pervasiveness of the warming that we've seen, and of course it has direct impacts, as you just saw
Yeah.
right there. Now, when we look at the current state of the winter, December was very warm. We're about to turn into a warm stretch again, but we did have a little cold snap. Those little details, it's not the overall pattern, right? That's just the weather forecast, not the climate.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because
Yeah.
when we look back on this winter, more than likely it will end up being a warm winter,
Right.
despite this week or two of really cold.
Exactly,
cold.
exactly.
And the other thing, too, is globally, even though the United States was dealing with extremely cold temperatures for a 1 to 2 week period, the rest of the globe was warmer than average. So in the balance, it was not even close.
Yeah. Well, we're about to get warm again.
We sure are. Millions and millions, over 200 million, in fact, over the next couple of days. We'll be looking for those high temperatures to get above average.
We see it already. Numbers are going up. Forecast highs today, a lot warmer than you were just this weekend.
Yeah, we're recovering. And, with that comes problems like fog, as you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, and also icing as well. That can be an issue because sometimes near the ground, the cold air is stubborn, hard to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Warm air tries to come back in and it creates problems, but eventually that warm air is going to win.
Yeah, it is going to win in a big way, right? All the coldest of the coldest, that's essentially going to be hanging well to the north. You got to head north of the border to get into the really cold stuff. And the lingering cold, as you mentioned, Dr. Posto, that just likes to be stubborn. Even that's going to start to get scoured out a bit, too.
It will. And, over time, that's going to happen. When you look at the late week temperatures at the surface, we're going to be way above average in southern Canada, where temperatures not long ago were way below average.
Right. So across the country, even in spots where you might have a dip in the jet stream, you're still not going to be cold. There's just no Arctic air to be found.
I have a question. How the heck did it get to be in the 70s in Raleigh, North Carolina this week? 70s? Are you kidding me? It's
that's
January.
a huge turnaround.
I mean, folks have asked the question, is winter over? Is that what we get, 2 weeks of winter?
Maybe.
Is that the new normal? I don't know.
Maybe.
But that is kind of wild, though, to think about it, how warm it's going to be. As you mentioned, Virginia, if this was April, March,
Right.
all right, we can kind of, but January.
Statistically, the coldest part of the year right now, seeing some 70s in North Carolina.
And look at the Northeast, too. Well, you can learn more. Pattern takes a deep dive into stories. Well, good morning, everyone. We are here with you through the mid-morning hours to keep you prepared for what's ahead.
Weather Channel has you covered, of course, from coast to coast, from north to south. We got it all.
We certainly do. Pick your color on the map, right? We've got the green with the rain. We got some pinks and purples, the wintry mix, some sleet, some freezing rain. How about the blue snow? And what's not on this map, a bit of fog.
A bit of fog.
Actually, a
The
lot.
fog is so widespread. Look at this. Everywhere in yellow, we've got fog advisories.
And you mentioned freezing fog, too. So when the fog is out and the temperatures are below 32 degrees by a little bit, you can freeze up on any surface, really.
Yeah, I honestly think, despite we've had so many winter storms, it's been so active, but what's happening right now is touching every state in some way, I feel like.
Yeah, way more widespread in terms of the impacts.
Yeah.
Maybe not as hardcore in terms of the punch, but jabs can do damage too.
Oh, yeah.
This is the recovery from the Arctic air mass that has
Yeah.
gripped most of us for the last couple of weeks. It's kind of messy.
It's not coming easy, that's for sure. And we want to talk about that new video that just came into the Weather Channel.
Yes.
The Fire and Rescue, about you want to spread out your body as much as possible so all of your weight is not in one spot, because that, of course, that's more weight on the ice to go through. So just trying to minimize, all weight in one spot on ice, which you don't know if it's strong enough to hold you.
Yeah, absolutely. So key here, particularly now as we're seeing these warmer numbers starting to creep in, some of these ponds that did kind of ice over a little bit, guess what? We're warming things up. They're going to be even more unstable.
But when the warm comes in, sometimes it happens upstairs, aloft, sooner than it does at the ground, and that can lead to still some freezing and icy conditions. You're going to talk about that in the Midwest.
Yeah,
Freezing
we're
rain,
still
yeah.
dealing with a bit of that. Yeah, we got to get this out of here. And I think we will eventually as we work our way through the day. But right now, the Midwest is still finding a bit of that. Some travel troubles here and there.